I am literally not even joking here. This is probably about the 6th time that I've tried to record this video. So let's hope it goes a little bit better this time. Hi guys, welcome back to another podcast in cars. In today's video, yet again, we are going to be talking about base model cars and their pricing versus pretty much in the same price bracket what you could do for a second-hand car, and what is actually a better buy. Now, with all that being said, it's very much a 50-50 topic, because for non-car people it's a little bit better to, or they would feel anyway, that it's a little bit better to go look at a car that is first hand from a dealership, that is under warranty. You can take the car back to the dealer and they will continue to, well, take care of the car as they should. Anyway, whilst us as car guys tend to feel it's maybe a little bit better for us to get a second-hand car because we can work on it ourselves. We don't mind the extra complications of needing to source our own parts and stuff, because generally speaking we can get it for cheaper anyway, if we know people, which some of us do anyway. And obviously it's just down to personal preference. Some people just prefer more modern cars with modern features. Some of us prefer older classics, but we put our creature comforts in past that, so like Bluetooth radios and so on and so forth. So with that all being said, what is the better scenario? I'm going to just apologize forefront right now. I'm probably going to use the Suzuki Swift as the main example, like, or a continuous example throughout my thing here, because I'm kind of more familiar with Suzuki Swifts and I kind of know their pricing plus minus. Not terribly well, but I do know it kind of. So I'm just terrified of my camera falling off. If it does, I apologize. Anyway. So, for example, I believe for a brand new Suzuki Swift, but the base model, so 1.2 litre, I believe is about 150 to like 180, if I'm correct. Somebody can correct me if I'm not, but last I looked, that was plus minus where they were sitting. And that's for 1.2 litre. Now, for that budget of about 150 to 180, there's actually a lot of cars on the market that you could pick up for like pretty good, as a pretty good deal within that price as a second-hand car. And I'd like to argue some cars with still like pretty good warranty and stuff. For example, within that budget, believe it or not, is an NC MX-5. You could pick up an NC first gen, so it hasn't got the fancy hard top that goes down. It's a soft top that comes up and down, and then you have to find a hard top, I believe, that connects to it, which is terribly difficult to find. So yeah, not so fun. But as long as the soft top's in good condition, modern car, modern radio, I don't think it might have Bluetooth. I don't know if it probably won't have like Android Auto or Apple CarPlay or anything like that. But in defense, the base model Suzuki Swift has a USB. That's what it's got for its radio. If you want to, obviously, well, it's got radio and then USB, I should say, sorry. But that's like its options. So my point being, NC Miata, and I mean manual 6-speed, if I'm correct, 2 litre naturally aspirated engine. It is the boat of the MX-5s, yes, but my point, you could pick up a car for you could pick up a really nice NC MX-5 for that. Additionally, for probably even cheaper than the NC, you could find a 1.6 Swift Sport, but the previous generation, which again, Suzuki still keeps parts for that generation, so you'll be able to get parts relatively easily, and they're cheap, because at least for that generation, I'm not sure about the new generation, but they shared like a lot of parts between the base model and the Sport, and well, everything in between. So there's like a lot of shared parts that you can just steal off and stuff. So my point being is, like, that seems like a pretty good deal. The only problem is the Swift Sports is probably going to have a fair bit of miles under its belt, whilst a new Swift obviously wouldn't. It would be brand new. Your insurance would probably be different, but I'm not going to speak about insurance because I actually don't know. My mom deals with my insurance. Thanks, Mom. So I can't really comment there. But that's what I was thinking about this the other day, and I thought I'd make a podcast on cars about it because I was like, for the price of a base model Polo, Golf, Suzuki Swift, you could like pick up some pretty damn good cars for the same condition. I say same condition, obviously higher miles, but it depends on the car. Some of them have been really well kept. So, I mean, like, there are particular cars that even us car guys don't really want to touch with even a fucking stick. Being like Subarus. Sorry, Subaru guys, but we do know you guys beat on the cars, so you don't really want one second hand because you don't know if the engine's going to blow up in 2 days. So my point being is there's a good variety of cars that you could pick up for the same kind of pricing and stuff. It's just slightly higher miles, but they might actually be more reliable. Because engines are built different now to how they were back in the day. Back in the day, emission standards were different, and so on and so forth. Hence why the 2JZ, the RB engines in general, even my little 1.6 litre are very well known for handling like 3-4 times the horsepower than they actually produce from factory stock. Like stock internals, you just up the boost and they're fine. Plus minus, obviously mine can get to pretty much what it is now, and then it would let go if I tried to push it a little bit more. Or at least another 100 horsepower more. But my point is, like, those engines are almost indestructible as long as you take care of them, and that is the biggest thing. Engines need to be taken care of. So as long as you have good faith in the previous owners that they took care of the car, which, as we know with my whole engine rebuild series, sometimes you can't trust the previous owners because they just screw around. But, I don't know, in the same breath, again, for 160 to 180 for a base model Swift, to be fair, maybe they've come down now, because I did look, I'm talking a while ago, so they might be at like 120 now, I guess. I'm not 100% sure. But even for 120k, I could buy an NA Miata, rebuild the engine, and turbocharge it. For 120k, I could basically have the car that I have now. Maybe the bodywork's a little bit beaten up, sure, but a rebuilt engine, turbocharged, aftermarket diff, aftermarket... you could probably actually even get a box for that, like an upgraded gearbox, so that it can hold even more power than what I'm pushing now. Damn, for the same price as a base model Swift, you could probably have a fully built NA Miata. And the benefit of that, voice crack, okay. And the benefit of that is obviously you could. Okay, sorry, another thought popped into my head. I got really good deals for the rebuild, so maybe it would be more expensive. But my point is, even if we had to disclude the upgrade, so if we removed the upgraded diff, gearbox, and a turbo from the situation, so you basically just rebuilt the engine, it would still be plus minus the same price. And that's going if you got like a really to the T kind of engineering company to do the engine overall for you, and you did nothing. Obviously, again, my dad and I rebuilt mine, so we got fair amounts of pricing off. So my point is, I don't know, I feel like you can get some pretty good deals. And what I was going to say earlier is, for something like this is almost doubled in price since I bought it. And I don't know, sorry, I got hiccups. That's something to take into consideration as well. Resale value, because it's, it's all one thing and another if your car is... you bought it for 200,000, 400,000, $1 million, it makes no difference. if you've bought it for a certain value, it does not mean that it's going to hold that value. Even if you never drove the car, even if you literally, it has 0.000 miles on it, you literally craned the car to your house and then just left it there under a nice pretty sheet, so it would just stay in pristine condition. A lot of cars don't hold their value like that. For example, this car back in the day is probably, I suppose, relative to what the new, this is 100% sliding down. I suppose it's relative to what the new MX-5 is. So if you had to buy a brand new ND MX-5, what would it cost? And I can guarantee that's I think it's just under 400,000. Okay, if in another 15 years time, that ND MX-5 is going to be worth, in today's money, I suppose, about 100,000. It's lost 300,000 off its price. However, my point is, at some point, it tends to go up again because classic car, collector car, so on and so forth. So, you could buy, again, like an NA MX-5. NBs have actually also started to go up in price, even NCs and stuff. You could go buy an MX-5 and the value for pretty cheap, in that low dip. And then, this is, why are you sliding so bad? Sorry, guys. So you could buy an MX-5 for reasonably good price, and then it will eventually go back up. Whilst a first-hand car, you're going to buy it and it's just going to lose value the moment you drive it. Is that all bad, though? Plus, minus, obviously for some people, they don't mind it losing value as long as the car takes very good care of them and drives well and behaves well, and basically you never have to worry about it ever in your life whilst you own it. All you have to do is maybe once in every bit drive it to the Hyundai, Suzuki, Ferrari dealership and have them just service it, make sure that it's all fine and well. So my overall thoughts on the situation are, I'd obviously prefer buying a second-hand car. It appeals to me more so, and just the premise of that. However, I can very much understand why people would buy a first-hand, off the dealership lot, but a base model, lower kind of spec. Because, again, if we had to compare base model spec Suzuki Swift to other second-hand things in the market, it'll be probably far more reliable. You'll get so many miles out of it. It'll be probably more fuel efficient because the engine's in a better condition. All you have to do, if anything does go wrong, you just have to drive it back to Suzuki and be like, please fix. And it might be reasonably expensive to fix, but I mean, all things considered, it's a base model. It probably won't be that expensive to fix. And for an extra $600 on top of your price, you could probably get a cheap-ish Bluetooth touchscreen radio kind of setup. Maybe not $600, maybe like $2,000. You could get like a Bluetooth touchscreen setup, and then there we go. Now you've got a Bluetooth radio in your car. You can listen to your own music. So I can 100% understand on that side of the argument. But for me personally, where I swing is obviously, as we all know, towards the second-hand market. Build something up yourself. I feel like it just appeals to me more because you could probably get a better deal out of it, if that makes sense. Because again, like I said, you could buy an NA Miata, rebuild the engine, slap it back in, probably for the same price. Seems like a pretty good deal for me. I don't know. I suppose it is very much dependent on budget, and I suppose also what you're looking for. Because again, for 120,000, you're looking at a baseline new shape Swift or a pretty lowish miles, like mid-mile Swift Sport, but from the previous generation. But then with that being said, you know that the previous owners of the Swift Sport were probably beating on it a bit, so a 50-50 shot? I don't know. I suppose though, I mean, if you're looking at, sports cars, again, for 400,000 for a brand new ND MX-5, you could buy in a Miata, turbocharge it, rebuild the engine, rebuild the gearbox, get an upgraded big gearbox, diff, whole aero kit, body kit, full interior redo. You know, you could go ham on an older MX-5 for like the same price as a new one. But I suppose that's not really within my argument, because it does very much depend. Oh, I should have mentioned this, 15 minutes ago. But it does, I suppose, very heavily depend on what your target car is. Because if you need something that's more practical, so you need a 4-seater car that's like fuel efficient, then yeah, a 1.2 litre Swift base model is quite appealing. Again, I'd still argue that the 1.6, although the larger displacement, it has variable valve timing and stuff, you could probably get plus minus the same mileage, maybe this much worse fuel economy, but like, suck it up. I'm sure your wallet can afford an extra 20 rand every time you fill up. Duh. Anyway, I suppose it really just does come down then to, how many miles are on the engine? Are you willing to work on it yourself? Can you still take it to the dealership for them to work on? Will they overcharge you because it is an older car now? Or do they still have parts? Like I said, for the Swift Sport, there's a lot of... there's a fair amount of parts shared between the different specs. So, like, you can get away with, like, a lot of different stuff. So yeah, even for things like Honda Civics and stuff, you can pick up the Type R of an FN Civic. You can pick up a Type R for like a good condition Type R for like 300,000. What's a modern base model spec for a Honda Civic? Because I think it's about 200,000. So if you found a reasonably high mile, or mid-mile, I should say, Type R Civic, this is sliding again. Sorry, guys. You could find, I don't know. This is kind of just where I stand. And I won't lie, like, I've done a little bit of research. I was on Facebook Marketplace looking up pricing and stuff a little bit earlier. I'm going to be honest, I got distracted because they were cool cars. Anyway, so... Go away. Anyway, I don't know. I think it is very much down to the person and stuff, because I don't know. I feel like you can get some pretty damn reliable secondhand cars that can get up to. I mean, we've seen 1UZs, V8 Lexus engines, Lexus Toyota, and they get to like 1 million miles. You don't have to like be, and I mean that's a V8. The guy's been thumping it. I think they're all limited to autos, but my meaning is still the guy's like thumping it every 2 minutes. Big growly V8s, not that fuel efficient. However, still got 1 million miles. So do we stress that much about it, or can we like take a chill about that? Because again, like I said, as long as you're taking good care of it, even if you are thrashing it and like beating the shit out of it, as long as you're taking good care of it, it won't really matter. So yeah. Anyway, I think I'm going to end the episode here because my camera is very, very aggressively sliding down and moving and stuff, and I can guarantee in 5 minutes it's going to pop off anyway, so I may as well just end the episode here and then don't have to put you guys through it. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Please let me know your thoughts on the whole situation down below. I'd be interested to see what you guys feel, and maybe if you guys have better pricing dynamics than I do. So yeah, let me know. Until next time, guys, please leave a like and consider subscribing. Can I please English? Fuck. Until then, guys, cheers.